25 days. That's all that separates pop culture from a courtroom showdown federal agents already call potentially historic. On May 12th, Sean "Diddy" Combs will face a jury, and if his defense collapses, the blast zone could swallow athletes, Grammy winners, tech investors, even a former sitcom prince. Tonight, we map every name on the Diddy Doomsday Clock and explain why insiders are refreshing their phones in a cold sweat. I've spent the past week sifting through hundreds of pages of lawsuits, sworn affidavits, and warrant inventories, so you don't have to. By the end of this rundown, you'll know who might testify, who might take a plea, and why the phrase "party footage" now sends Hollywood's richest couples into full lockdown mode. Jay-Z and Diddy once talked about purchasing the Carolina Panthers together. They cross-promoted liquor brands, invested in tech startups, and joked about forming a hip-hop billionaires club. All that bromance froze in November 2023 when Cassie Ventura filed her bombshell complaint alleging abuse and trafficking. Overnight, Rock Nation wiped every post that featured Combs. Jay's famously ordered Instagram grid went to a single black square, and distributors quietly separated D'Ussé and Ciroc displays. Panic spiked again on December 12, 2024, when attorney Tony Busby dropped both Jay-Z's and Diddy's names into a suit, claiming a 13-year-old girl was assaulted after the 2000 MTV VMAs. Jay fired back with a blistering statement, calling the filing extortion, and has countersued Busby for defamation. Insiders say Beyoncé's team tripled NDA penalties for anyone allowed backstage on the Renaissance tour. Translation: the Queen wants zero surprises before verdict day. Joseph Manzero's civil suit reads like eyes wide shut on South Beach steroids. He says Combs' security spiked his drink, buried him to a guest house owned by Gloria and Emilio Estefan, then marched him through a tunnel drenched in red light into Diddy's mansion, where a birthday cake for Christian Combs was surrounded by dancers in glitter masks. Manzero claims he heard Beyoncé gasp, "What is going on?" as Jay-Z tried to lead her away. He also says LeBron James strolled past in nothing but a white towel, muttering, "Y'all better handle that." Graphic details too explicit for broadcast follow. Forced nudity, humiliation showers, a leather hood zipped shut. Defense lawyers mock the complaint as fan fiction, pointing to Jay's speech schedule in New York that day and LeBron's 31-point stat line against Indiana. Prosecutors view it as pattern evidence. More than 10 other plaintiffs describe nearly identical drug and humiliation rituals. If even one juror buys the tunnel story, a narrative of coordinated trafficking suddenly looks plausible. LeBron's potential cameo matters because juries love household names. If prosecutors can compel the Lakers star, even reluctantly, to confirm basic details, courtroom becomes prime-time television, and publicity pressure can push a defendant towards settlement faster than any pretrial motion. Entertainment lawyers in Beverly Hills quietly opened tape contingency LeBron files months ago. Rumors say at least one high-definition clip places him at an invite-only Combs gathering most people assumed was phone-free. Kanye West's pivot from critic to crusader is the strangest subplot of all. Friends claim he sees Combs as a fellow martyr, a disruptive black mogul the establishment once erased. Critics say he's chasing chaos for headline oxygen. Either way, his allegiance is legally risky. Former assistant Lauren Picciota lists Ye as the premises owner of the Calabasas studio, where she claims her drink was drugged during a 2024 session. Prosecutors could dangle limited immunity for security camera logs and visitor ledgers. Worse, Ye's jail phone duet with Diddy, Lonely Rose Go to Sunshine, may violate New York's Son of Sam law that bars profit from alleged crimes. Streaming royalties could be frozen mid-trial. Prosecutors love escalation arcs, and nothing escalates like gunfire. On December 27, 1999, at Club New York, 3 people were wounded. Combs was acquitted, but 21-year-old protege Shine took a 10-year fall. Shine, now Moses Barrow, Speaker of Belize's House, has agreed to describe Combs' culture of disposal in a remote deposition. Jennifer Lopez, once Diddy's partner in that ordeal, stayed mostly silent for years, but her 2024 documentary mentions being manhandled was by a past lover. Cassie's lawsuit describes identical jealous chokeholds. If Lopez is subpoenaed, the jury could hear a pattern of behavior stretching a quarter century. Ashton Kutcher spent much of the 2000s on Combs' guest lists, even co-hosting a 2009 all-white bash in Aspen. After the Danny Masterson letter fiascos, Kutcher's PR radar is on red alert. His reps have quietly shipped calendars to prosecutors, proving he left most Combs events before 1 a.m., a preemptive defense against any after-hours allegation. He'll comply quickly if subpoenaed. His brand can't absorb another moral judgment blow. Producer Lil Rod's 73-page 2024 filing quotes Combs bragging about seducing a Philly rapper fresh off a Nicki Minaj breakup. Hello, Meek Mill, and a Super Bowl singer with a Vegas residency. That's Usher. Meek offered $100,000 to anyone who could disprove the rumor, then disappeared from social media. When sleuths surfaced 17 photos of him hanging out with Combs between 2014 and 2022, Usher's entire X timeline vanished in September 2024. He blamed hackers, but investigators subpoenaed MGM key swipe logs from his residency week anyway. Ashley Parham's March 2025 suit claims Combs drugged and kidnapped her in 2018, directing comedian Drowski to assault her while Odell Beckham Jr. watched. Drewski says he was living at his mom's house and had no entertainment connections. Odell says he was rehabbing an ankle surgery. Parham, however, included guest list screenshots from a Kyrock yacht party that place both men in Miami on the date in question. If metadata holds, those alibis collapse. Defense strategy appears threefold. First, jury box Jenga. Strike anyone during voir dire who has tweeted number me too or posted Cassie hashtags. Any sign of anti-celebrity bias is a red flag. Second, weaponize consent. Acknowledge the parties were wild. Insist every act was adult and filmed for protection, and paint accusers as disgruntled freeloaders. Third, pull the fire alarm. If cornered, introduce high-definition party footage. Law enforcement sources tell me 8 encrypted drives, labeled by year ranges, were seized from Combs' homes. Even 60 seconds of celebrity misbehavior could explode public perception, sow doubt, and maybe trigger a mistrial. One industry lawyer calls it the Thanos snap for reputations. May 12th isn't just a court date, it's a stress test for an industry built on velvet rope secrecy. If Combs walks, expect civil countersuits against accusers and a global victory lap on every talk show. If he falls, watch the dominoes. Record labels rewriting party policies, streaming platforms freezing back catalogs, security teams shredding decade-old guest lists, and megastars lawyering up over 4K footage they hoped was deleted. Bookmark this rundown. In a month, the verdict, or the chaos of mistrial, will tell us which predictions landed and which celebrities dodged the blast. Until then, keep your paperwork clean, because the Diddy Doomsday Clock is ticking whether you watch it or not.